He's an important part of this offense with Khalif Raymond on IR. He's the clear wide receiver 3, but I think that previous graphic just speaks to this idea that this is a very equal opportunity offense. There is no, we're just going to feed Amon-Ra St. Brown the way that Jamar Chase gets fed by Joe Burrow. It's just whoever is open. They have so many different weapons. And to me, the thing that stood out the most in a way is that David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, kind of didn't do that much on the ground. They're averaging sub 4 yards per carry, and they still both have really good days because of the work they do through the air.
That's the beauty of it, is that while it could be a little hard to figure out who's going to get volume, because honestly nobody will get all of the volume, it's efficient. That's the thing with Ben Johnson in this offense. Talk about Jameson Williams getting the 80 yards. Lawrence highlighted just the target share that he's had, not only recently, but more specifically what he's been able to do at home. And then, of course, our guys, Sonic and Knuckles, big Sonic and Knuckles fans on this desk, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Of course, Gibbs is a guy that gets 6 catches and 30 yards and a touchdown, does a lot of damage through the air. Montgomery also catches 5 passes in this game on some checkdowns, but gets in the end zone. So even without them having massive nights, Jay, like you said, they both each go over 19 fantasy points. They are locked in your lineups week after week.
Yeah, these guys are monsters, despite Matthew's loathing of their perfectly fine nicknames in Sonic and Knuckles. I think the two guys who suffer the most in this offense, at least relative to expectations, are Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta, who have been fine. Amon-Ra certainly has been fine, but hasn't lived up. There was a chance preseason that Amon-Ra could be the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy. He hasn't really sniffed that because of how diversified this offense is. Sam Laporta, signs of life. He's still an excellent excellent tight end, but there's just too many dudes in this offense at the moment.
Yeah, and things are turning right for Sam Laporta. 10.5 points per game since week 6. It was under 7 points per game through week 4, so at least things are getting better. Season high in targets, 4th game this season with 50-plus receiving yards. Jared Goff said just how much he trusts his tight ends. And then how about Jameson Williams, though, just to revisit this one, Jay, because it feels like they love the big playability with him on the field, and it feels like there's just so much open space for him and Tim Patrick because of the attention that both Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown command, and the run game commands.
Yep, he does have a unique role in the offense where he is the deep guy. Jared Goff has confidence throwing deep to Jameson Williams. Every week, though, he is very high variance. There are going to be weeks where he puts up 27 yards and doesn't do a great deal, and then there's other weeks where he's going to totally explode. So, he's developing into his role, but I think that he is another guy who, if he was on a different team, there would be a chance he'd be a wide receiver 2 and would be a top 15 wide receiver in fantasy. But on this team, there's just such a wealth of options.
So as we get near the fantasy playoffs, the Lions have the Bills next week, the Bears, Niners, Minnesota. Let's stay in the more short term and talk about the matchup with the Bills. The point total should be really high just because of how potent these offenses are. Is there a world on a deeper roster that you can argue starting Tim Patrick in your flex going forward, or is that just too touchdown risky?
I think in deeper leagues there is the opportunity just because Khalif Raymond is on IR, because he is the wide receiver 3 in a super high octane offense, and because just his profile as a player, I do think it lends itself well to red zone targets, just with his size, with his understanding of space. And I think the good thing for all of these Detroit players from a fantasy perspective is that the defense is just done. The defense, they're out of human beings to throw out.
Campbell knows it.
Yeah.
He said after the game, our offense had to win this game, and it was no shot at his defensive staff. It's literally a bodies thing.
Yep.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.